The flesh beast called Tanba Ryoko said that the other patients had developed neurological disorders after receiving the same treatment I did, so I guess I'm just another failure. Hey guys, Kudere Ghost here, and welcome back to Saya, the Song of Saya, rather. So, let's get back into it. Alright, Dr. Tanbo Ryoko has never had a more troublesome patient. Has there been any change since your last visit, Mr. Sakisaka? No, nothing to speak of. His voice is hard and flat. His words tossed carelessly, Jesus, okay, if I could read, thank you, that'd be great, carelessly into the air. It's like he's speaking to himself in an empty room. Ryoko is a surgeon, not a psychiatrist, but even she can sense the thickness of the wall he has erected between himself and the world. Any nausea, dizziness, or hallucinations? No. While Sakisaka appears to be looking at Ryoko, his gaze is actually aimed a fraction down and to the side. He's only superficially engaged in the conversation, when in truth, it does not interest him in the slightest. Perfect rejection. Realizing that she can't interview him like this, Ryoko sighs and sets her chart aside. Mr. Sakisaka, the procedure you received at the hospital was the latest in experimental neurosurgery. We explained this before, didn't we? Treatment of subdural hematoma through the use of micro-machines, a procedure available in Japan exclusively here at the T University Medical Center, had been the only way to save Sakisaka Fumori from a cerebral contusion that should have been fatal. With any experimental treatment, there is always a risk of unexpected complications. Of course. He should tell them, maybe, you know, maybe this guy should be like, hey guys, I see everything as monsters, okay? I don't know why it's a thing, but it's a thing, okay? So help me, please. Okay. Sakisaka Fumori's lips twist slightly in what might be a bitter or mocking smile, but it is gone before Ryoko can discern its meaning. Okay. Normally, I would never say anything to frighten a patient, but there have been reports of serious neurological disorders post-surgery. We must continue to monitor your condition carefully. Hence these weekly checkups. If only he would take them a little bit more seriously. Thank you. Okay, I messed up the first and second time, so I just decided to go on a rant. Okay. How was last week's MRI? Sakisaka asks abruptly, as if to catch Ryoko off guard. MRI, yeah. Is a way for doctors to examine the brain in detail without opening the patient's skull. Surprised by Sakisaka's uncommon technical knowledge, Ryoko recalls his profile. Oh, that's right. You're a medical student, aren't you? The kind of anomaly you're worried about should show up on an MRI, right? Did you find anything? No. There was nothing, not even the slightest hint of abnormal activity. For a procedure with such a low rate of success, the results have been nothing short of miraculous. That's weird. However, something still bothers Ryoko. She can't shake the feeling that he's hiding something beneath his guarded exterior, some terrible weight on his skull. Not on his skull, his soul. Okay. But if it is an inorganic problem, then there's nothing she can do as long as he refuses to explain it. I'm fine, doctor. I've lived on my own for 3 months without any problems. What could go wrong now? Please, you know that continued observation is required after these difficult surgeries. You have to trust us a little bit more. I suppose you're right. I do want to trust you, doctor. Can I come to you with anything? Yes, of course, Ryoko answers, smiling to cover up her irritation. Sakisaka asked exactly the same question during last week's visit. Well then, let's pick off from where we left off. Have you learned anything about Dr. Oguy? Unable to answer, Ryoko hardens the mask of her smile. As before, the patient is inquiring about someone whom he has no business knowing. If you don't mind me asking, what does Dr. Oguy have to do with your treatment? You just told me to trust you, and now you're keeping secrets. Ryoko is used to patients treating her with hostility. After all, some degree of paranoia is natural when dealing with someone who holds your life in her hands. In Sakisaka, however, she doesn't see the short-sighted impatience that other patients exhibit. His demeanor is perfectly calm, almost like a detective questioning a suspect. He left this hospital some time ago. I never had any contact with him myself. Do you know why he left? Yes, I believe it was personal. Ryoko answers smoothly, her earlier hesitation gone. Having decided at the outset to lie, she has no trouble doing so with a straight face. But why do you keep asking about Dr. Oguy? Do you know him? Did you know that the doctor has gone missing? No. Ryoko realizes that her answer may have been a little too quick. She should have acted more surprised. I've recently become close with a relative of his. It was she who asked me to find him. A relative? Ryoko considers this with a frown. I didn't think Dr. Oguy had any relatives. Oh, who told you that? I heard it from a nurse. Ryoko replies, remembering that she just claimed to have no contact with the man. I see. So the doctor was famous enough for nurses to gossip about him? He was an unusual man, I hear. But no one knows why he left the university? Ryoko falls silent, knowing that this isn't a topic she can brush away with a smile. Sakisaka seems to have finally grasped her mood, however, as his strangely stiff tone softens a little. Doctor, I absolutely must find Dr. Oguy. There's a girl who's lost without him. Can't you help me? Is this something the police should help? Or handle? Not help. Okay. Although she makes it sound like the most obvious thing in the world, the suggestion is actually a risky gamble. If a guy okay, I'm just gonna ignore that, alright? Disappearance becomes a police matter, then the university will be investigated. Everyone who is involved in the incident will be at risk of exposure. Thank you, brain. Please. And of course that includes Ryoko herself. She knows, however, that Sakisaka is unlikely to go to the police. First of all, his excuse is obviously a lie. They already made sure that Oguy had no relatives who might have come looking for him, which is why they could bury the truth of what happened. But then how did Sakisaka, a mere patient, learn about a guy? A guy. Okay. I'd be happy to help, but there's no word from Dr. Oguy since he resigned last April. I can only assume that he's gone on an extended vacation. I see. Expecting resistance, Ryoko is surprised when Sakisaka backs down. She's still worried about his condition, and the mysterious link between him and Oguy Masahiko is only making her more uneasy. But as long as he doesn't open up to her, there's nothing she can do. Yeah, well, maybe you should try to open up to your patient. Gee. After a brief pause, Ryoko writes progress good on Sakisaka's chart for today. About next week's appointment. How does 4 o'clock again sound? Before she can finish, Sakisaka is gone. Okay, I take that as a yes. Ugh. It looks like someone sprayed the walls with pig's guts from ceiling to floor. What color should the walls of a hospital be? White, of course. And to the creatures of rotten flesh shambling around me, I'm sure this hallway looks just as white as it should. I know, intellectually, that the walls are white. I know that the flesh beasts are really human. I'm the one with the problem, and it's because I've accepted this that I'm able to leave somewhat of an approachable normal... I'm able to lead something approaching a normal life. There we go. Please, guys, help. I know intellectually, or don't make it go away and then whatever. Even if my university's medical department is nowhere near as good as T University's, I'm still a medical student specializing in neurology. Neurology, yes. I have a basic idea of what has happened to me, though it's hard to believe. This isn't a pathological condition. It's probably some form of agnosia, unlike anything that has ever been studied before. The flesh beast called Tanba Ryoko said that the other patients had developed neurological disorders after receiving the same treatment I did, so I guess I'm just another failure. It makes me want to laugh in that know-it-all doctor's face. That said, I don't blame the doctors who operated on me. After all, I do owe them my life. I know as well as anyone how low the chances of success was, and that I had no other hopes of survival. Ooh, why is that 3D? That's creepy, man. Look at it. Ugh. Ew, look at that. Ugh. I was unlucky. That's all there is to it. The point is that my condition isn't treatable. Just like someone's adapting to a hearing aid or wheelchair, I have no choice but to adapt to this nauseating scenery. Of course, it's hard. It wasn't easy to resign myself to this fate. Okay, what if someone asks, "Hey, what color is that?" "Oh man, that's the color of flesh." But now there's more than just despair. Even for me, there is a glimmer of hope. That's red. That's red. More red. God. Keeping my eyes on my feet so as to see as little of this horrifying world as possible, I hurried home. Okay. Well, this is quite interesting, though. I live in a quiet suburban neighborhood in a house that's much too large for me alone. My parents, even unluckier than I was, died in the accident 3 months ago. I couldn't even go to the funeral for being in intensive care. I had to sell my father's business, but at least that left me with the house and enough money to live on for a while. Okay. Ugh. Ugh, man. Of course, I'm sad, but the accident took from me more than my parents. In fact, being on my own has probably saved me. If they were still alive, my parents would have never allowed me to live with some strange girl after all. Oh. Okay. Welcome home. As I open the door, a bright voice greets me from the kitchen. The voice is beautiful and clear as a bell, human. Its sweet sound washes the day's cacophony from my memory. I'm home, Saya. Even the patter of feet coming down the hallway is music to my ears. Nowhere else in the city can I hear such footsteps. Only in this house. With Saya, I am so privileged. You're late. I was a little worried. Sorry, I had to stop by the hospital today. Oh, was that today? In her smile, in the inquisitive tilt of her head, is everything that I have lost. Since my accident, this girl is the only person I've met, perhaps the only person in the entire world who does not trigger my cognitive disorder. That is kind of interesting, okay? True, her skin seems too white, and the color of her eyes and hair is probably different in reality, but even so, her form is undeniably human. And it's not just her appearance and her voice, but also her... As I bend down to take off my shoes, Saya wraps her arms around my neck and pulls me gently into her... Okay. Her skin feels truly human, not cold or slimy, and from her hair wafts the sweet fragrance. Okay. In all the world, only Saya is pleasing to my five senses. And what's more, she smiles at me, embraces me. She knows that she is my salvation, and for some reason is happy that I need her. If I had not met Saya, if I had been all alone in this twisted, filth-ridden world, I would have no doubt succumbed into madness. It is no exaggeration to say that Saya alone is keeping me alive. What did you do today? Worked on the living room. The painting's half done, and now I'm making your dinner like I learned from the TV. Sounds good. It'll take a little longer. Can you wait? Sure. I'll do some more work in the living room. After I see this humming Saya off to the kitchen, I step into the living room. Yeah, that does look pretty living, doesn't it? Look at it. Yeah, that looks pretty living to me. I realized one day that if the natural colors of the world were sickening, all I had to do was paint them over with colors that seemed pleasant. I went to the hardware store and bought every color of paint I could find. Then Saya and I tried different combinations until we found one that worked. After painting the bedroom from ceiling to floor, I was finally able to get my first good night's sleep since the accident. When we first started on the living room, Saya... Living room, because it looks pretty living, my dude. Okay. Unsure of what to do with the curtains, just painted carefully around the windows. Without a moment's hesitation, I tore the curtains down and painted over the glass itself. Oh. There will never be anything out there that I want to see, and as long as we keep the storm shutters closed, the neighbors probably won't think anything of it. Dinner's ready. Can you bring it here? As she enters the living room with a tray of food, Saya sniffs the air. The paint smell doesn't bother you? Now that she mentions it, I suppose the smell of paint thinner must be building up in this closed room. It really doesn't bother me, though. There are far worse smells outside. Yeah. Does it bother you, Saya? No, I'm fine if you are. Saya sets the food on the table. Unfortunately, neither its colors nor its smell is at all appetizing. Not that food anywhere else is different. Thanks, Saya. As has become routine, I steal myself and methodically transport the food into my mouth. The taste is as gut-wrenching as I expected, but it's not Saya's fault. I'm sure she made it exactly like the cooking show said. It's just that my taste buds can't accept it. It's not good, she asks hesitantly. Well, no. Lying won't make Saya happy. She knows about my condition. Don't worry about it. I'll make something different tomorrow. Sorry, you always go through the trouble of cooking, but It's fine. If I keep trying, maybe I'll make something you like. In my current state, eating is nothing more than an unwelcome duty. As much as I hate it, I need food to survive. If I stay alive, then perhaps one day, as Saya says, I'll be able to taste something delicious again. I met Saya, didn't I? Aren't you going to eat? No, I already ate. In all the time that we've been together, Saya has never eaten once with me. I don't know why she refuses to do so. It makes me a little sad. What if she's actually not human, okay? Like, what if it's like flip-flop? What if, like, the flesh beast monster is human in his eyes? Oh, God. What if she's a flesh monster, okay? Like a real one. Okay, not a human that looks like one. Still, I'm not about to push the issue. Not when she's putting up with all the problems I have. By the way, I asked about your father again. About Dad? Dr. Oguy Masihako, Saya's father, is her only relative. Saya has asked me to unravel the mystery of his disappearance. They still wouldn't tell me anything. I get the feeling they're hiding something. Oh. I expected Saya to be a little bit more dejected. You haven't given up, have you? No, Saya responds with an unreadable expression. It's not that. She gives a little shake of her head, then smiles at me once again. Thank you for all that you've done for me, Fuminori. It's nothing compared to what you've done for me. I thank her for the meal and set my chopsticks down next to a perfectly clean plate. As wretched as the taste was, thinking of the care that Saya put into it gave me the strength to finish every bite. Is it bath time? Yeah, well, you... okay? Okay, that's a little weird. I'm gonna... Just gonna... That's weird. Okay. That's a little weird. Ugh. Saya. Why are you so good to me? Alright guys, I'm going to end the episode there. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed, please smash that like button. I also censored out a big portion of the game, because that is weird, okay? I'm not even going to talk about that, but anyway, I will see you next time. Peace.